everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and in today's video I'm telling you how to start a booktube channel. So if you are a fan of booktube, if you love reading and you're very passionate about talking about your favorite books, it might be a good idea to start a booktube channel, especially this year. If you're just like, you know what, the pandemic has taught me, just do what you feel like. Like if you've wanted to start a booktube channel for quite a while, then this is the ideal place to start. And why not start now? Talk about your favorite books and just put yourself out there, you know? So I wanted to make this video for quite a while. I have been on booktube for 8 years, which is insane. Over those 8 years, I have learned a lot about the booktube community, a lot about YouTube and booktube and what works. And I have lots of experience in terms of working with publishers and requesting proof copies because I work for a book publisher. I get to see it from the other side as well. This video is aimed at complete beginners who would love to start a booktube channel, but also if you've already started your booktube channel and you're just not sure where to go from there, this video I hope will really help you out. So before we get started, please do make sure you are subscribed to this channel for more videos like this and have notifications turned on, and that way you will never miss an upload from me. Okay, so let's just get started because I'm sure you all want to know the top tips. So I'm going to work kind of chronologically as if you have never started your channel yet and you need help from the get-go. So my first tip is to think of a catchy channel name, something that tells your audience what you're going to do. So my channel name is obviously The Book Belle. So that was inspired by my love for Beauty and the Beast, aka Belle, and books. It's something that came quite naturally to me and I don't really know why, but it's just kind of become part of my booktube identity now. And I really like my channel name. It's something that, you know, as the years go on, maybe I will just change to my full name, Lucy Richardson, as that kind of is more down the line of personal branding. But if you are just starting a booktube channel, you're going to talk about books, then have something bookish in your name. There are some great examples out there, and usually something like books with your name or reading with your name is also a really fun channel name idea as well. So having your channel name and identity is a really crucial place to start. You need to start a YouTube channel with an identity like that, something very clear and concise, and it's also memorable that people will remember and, you know, really set your channel up to represent who you are. So once you have your channel name, now the fun begins. My next recommendation for the next step will be to think of your niche. So booktube is a huge place now. When I started 8 years ago, there were a handful of creators who were really massive. However, booktube right now is, to be honest, oversaturated in terms of how many people are making videos, in terms of, you know, the competition out there. So booktube itself isn't really a niche anymore like it was back in my day 8 years ago. So you need to find your niche. What is it that you really love to read? What sets you apart? What makes you different? For example, my niche could be that I work in publishing. That is a very unique perspective. Not loads of booktubers have that perspective. Another niche of mine is that I love fantasy books and I love romance books. So I make lots of videos on fantasy, romance, and sometimes fantasy romance, you know? I also love classics. I'm also a writer. I enjoy writing books. So I've done a few videos on my journeys with NaNoWriMo and writing itself. So those are kind of my niches. And when I do struggle for content ideas, I will fall back on my niche and think, right, you know, what do people know me for? What do people come to this channel to watch? And what are my most successful videos, you know? So that's how I kind of build my niche. When you're just starting out, really think about the books you love to read. Are you really passionate about graphic novels? Maybe that can be your main strand, you know, recommending graphic novels and, you know, different things like that around your niche. So I think having that kind of focus is really important when you're just building a YouTube channel, because it gives you a point of difference, and you need a point of difference when YouTube has so many creators out there. So many videos go live every second. So you need to think, what is going to make you stand out? So the next tip is obviously something a little bit more technical. It is to set up a YouTube specific email address. So an email address that people can contact you about you know, to send you proof copies, for example. As a book publicist, as my kind of professional work, I work for HarperCollins Publishers as a publicist. Having a very clear email address to find on your YouTube About page is really helpful, because when publishers are looking to send, you know, bloggers and vloggers proof copies, having a dedicated email address is really easy. So I definitely recommend setting up just like a really simple email address with your kind of channel name at gmail.com or whatever it is, and that's a really good place to start. Segueing from that is to think of your YouTube branding. So you don't need to go all out there for your first video and make end slates and make intros. You don't need to do any of that, but do have a think about your channel art on your page. You know, you can make some really simple ones on a website called Canva. It is free. You can create really cool, very colorful, lovely, like kind of channel art on Canva, and just have a think, what are your colorways going to be? What is your branding going to be? Is there a specific font that you're always going to use in your kind of, you know, banners, icons, whatever? Have a think about that, and maybe build a kind of brand kit for yourself on Canva, so that when people click on your page, they see a lovely bit of channel art and maybe a nice picture of you that is really clear that people can see on your YouTube channel page. It makes all the difference to make that look as professional as possible. So next I want to talk about equipment. I think there is definitely this expectation that you need all this really expensive equipment, and I'm here to say you really do not. When I started out making YouTube videos 8 years ago, I was using the built-in webcam on my really old laptop. So if you troll back through my channel and go to my first ever videos, they are so pixelated, you can barely see any detail. However, I was working with what I had, and I was just putting the videos out there. They weren't the best quality, but they did help me get myself out there, you know, like it was a start, it was something. I didn't invest in proper camera equipment, proper editing software until a few years in. So from that grainy webcam, I then used my iPhone. So iPhone cameras nowadays are perfect, or just whatever phone you have. The camera is likely going to be really good. So use that as a basis. You don't have to kind of, you know, splash out on a really expensive DSLR camera or any specific kind of equipment. I would just start with your iPhone. One thing that might be handy to invest in is a tripod, and if you're going to use your phone with a little phone extension, that's always really helpful. I think having a tripod is something it's worth investing in, because having stable, non-shaky videos and the ease of being able to set up a position that you like is really important. So don't invest in any equipment at this stage if you're just building a YouTube channel. I would just use what you have. Also, there is lots of free editing software out there, like iMovie if you're a Mac user, or Windows Movie Maker if you are a Windows Microsoft person. There's also lots of other free editing software. If you just Google free editing software into Google, you know, there will be loads of results. Like, honestly, there are so many great options nowadays. I have paid for a license for Final Cut Pro. I've been using Final Cut for a while now. I find it very intuitive. I'm a big fan of the interface. So I have actually invested in more expensive editing software over the years, but that has made sense because I've been a booktuber for 8 years. I make 2 videos a week. I am getting my use out of my editing software. So that's definitely an investment for me, and something that goes towards making my channel and my videos better quality. So it's worth starting out with something that doesn't cost that much money, but then when you do build up your channel and you are more passionate about it and you know you're going to stick to making videos, it's worth maybe thinking about investing in better equipment. The equipment I use nowadays for a little bit of inspiration is a Canon 700D. It is one of these ones. This is just the standard kit lens. I bought this second-hand actually, and I got it ages ago. So I do think I might be upgrading this one soon. But this was the perfect one because there is a little flip-out screen so you can see yourself. And this has done me good for many, many a year. I also have a vlogging camera, which is what I'm using right now. It is the Canon G7X Mark II. Perfect, does the job. So I don't actually own any microphones. I do need to invest in a microphone because one thing I am looking to upgrade is my audio quality. I also just have a very basic tripod. It is the Camlink TP2800. There you go. I also use Final Cut Pro and I use Adobe Photoshop to edit my thumbnails. Okay, so now that you've got your equipment sorted, you've got your channel name, you've got your art, what next? It's time to film. So for your first video, I would advise writing a script. So, not every YouTuber out there is working off a script. I do not script any of my videos. What I do is I pull up the Notes app on my phone and I have touch points. I don't know if you can see that at all. I have touch points on certain beats I want to hit in the video, but I don't write out a script. I find that a script is quite hard for me. Like, I often go off track if I have a script. However, for your first video, having a script is probably a really good idea. It will put you at ease. It won't be nerve-wracking because your first video is often quite nerve-wracking, just getting used to being on camera. So I'd write yourself a script, do the hard part in advance of filming, and that way when it comes to filming, you're just literally reading off a script. You're trying to make that a little bit more personal, a little bit more emotive, and not just completely just like reading off something, you know? So next we're talking about video ideas. So obviously you can't write a script without a video idea. So what are you going to film? I would recommend, if you're starting a YouTube channel, creating 4 basic videos to kind of lift your channel and really make it successful and get lots of views when you're first creating your videos. So the 4 videos I would recommend starting with are the BookTube newbie tag, which always gets a lot of views and is a really nice introduction to who you are. And a lot of people follow this tag because it's a really good way of finding new creators. There'll be loads of people who are doing the BookTube newbie tag at the same time. So what might be cool is like watching a few other people's videos like this, and then you can start your own and maybe you can comment on other people who've done the newbie tag, you know? So that's a really nice place to start. The other videos I would recommend making, because these always do really well, like they're very searchable, a lot of people are looking to watch these types of videos, are a basic book haul. So your first ever book haul, you know, like showing people what books you've acquired recently. It doesn't even need to be books that you've bought. It could be a library book haul, you know, it could be wherever you get your books. Another video I think is really important to start with is a bookshelf tour. Bookshelf tours are very, very popular on BookTube. They always get a lot of views. So if you're looking to really start your channel strong, newbie tag, book haul, bookshelf tour, you're reaching as many people as you can really. Another one which would be good to start with is your favorite books. You know, if you're just growing an audience, you need to show people who you are, and what's more important than that than doing a video all about your all-time favorite books. Give your audience a really good glimpse into who you are and what you like to read, because if they also like one of your favorite books, you're more likely to have people stick around because they know that you read books that they like. Okay, so once you've got your video idea and you've written your script, it's time to think of your filming setup. I think filming setups are actually really important. They don't really affect anything in terms of people clicking on your video, but in terms of things like maintaining a nice aesthetic and viewer retention, which is also something that we'll go into, basically how long people stay on your video, it's really important. So as you can see, I always have my bookshelves behind me, and I usually have a plant. Now this is your personal choice. You don't have to sit in front of your bookshelves, but for a BookTube channel, I think sitting in front of bookshelves or a collection of books is really important because, you know, it tells your viewers what you're here about. Like, I care about books and I like a little plant as well, you know? Plants are always very aesthetic, adds a pop of colour. They always look good in videos, I think. Another good thing to think about is your lighting situation. Where are you going to film? It's important, if you do not have any professional lighting set up, like any kind of ring lights or anything, sit in front of your window so that you get some really nice natural light. Natural light is your friend. You know, you can't beat natural light, even with kind of ring lights and everything like that. So I always film in front of a window, and I'll usually have some kind of light coming at this way because my window is here. So I have just like a normal standing light here, not a professional one because I can never be bothered to set up my ring lights. So I have the window here and I have a light here. The usual setup is the kind of 3-point light. So you have a light in front of you, you have a light to the side and a light to the other side. Do some research on like basic lighting setups, but if all else fails, sit in front of your window, you will get the best natural light there. And think about the timing that you want to film, because usually light in the morning is quite nice, but you definitely don't want to be leaving it too late so that you run out of light. Think about all those things and you'll have a perfect setup for your YouTube channel. So once you've created your video and you've edited it on your free editing software, it might be time to think about your YouTube thumbnail. So a quick word on thumbnails is that I think it's really important to experiment. I think having some basic thumbnails where it's just a picture of you, you know, just take a picture after you have finished filming. That's what I always do. I always have like a little thumbnail session after I finish filming. And I just use the kind of self timer on my camera, do a couple of shots with the book you're talking about or the stack of books. I always try and include books in the thumbnail. If not a stack of books or the book I'm talking about, then a kind of screenshot of the cover, because it tells your audience what the video is about. And that's the key thing about thumbnails, is how are you going to hook your audience, especially if, you know, your video gets picked up by the algorithm and YouTube is showing your video to new viewers. You want your thumbnail to stand out and really be attractive to these new viewers so they click on your video and subscribe. So my key tips will be to make the thumbnail as bright and colorful as possible. So I always adjust the brightness, I always make it really bright and clear. I also kind of toggle with the saturation a little bit so the colors pop. And I always use the vibrancy setting on Photoshop, make my photo more vibrant, basically, make all the colors stand out. So I really like that. I also like to put text on my thumbnails. Usually I think the text is better, so it's different from the title. So your thumbnail is kind of saying a fun little thing about what the video is, kind of something catchy, kind of clickbaity. Clickbaity is always quite fun to work with. Don't overdo it, but something quite clickbaity on your thumbnail is quite a good way to do it. And just have fun, play around. Canva is a free online website where you can make thumbnails and make them look really gorgeous. I'm not sponsored by Canva, just so you know, but I do think it's a good place to start if you don't have Photoshop or you don't have any editing software. There's loads of free online tools. I know a lot of people who use PicMonkey as well, and it's really basic and you can do a lot of great things with that. But making sure your thumbnails stand out, the colors are really good, vibrant, and you're holding up some form of book, or, you know, there's just something more to the thumbnail. I think that's really important. Okay, my final piece of advice before I get into some top tips is thinking about your wider social presence. YouTube is definitely a silo in that you're promoting, you know, YouTube can pick up your video and promote it to other areas of YouTube and new viewers. But think about how you're going to get your video out there beyond just YouTube, especially when you're new and you don't have many subscribers yet on YouTube. You need to think about, what other avenues of promotion do I have? So I would set up a corresponding Twitter and Instagram account, you know, that can be bookish themed, or they can just be more personal, you know, like a personal Instagram, personal Twitter account. I have a Instagram and a Twitter account at BookBelleReads. They are basically named after my channel name, so people can find me quite easily on Twitter and Instagram that way. So I definitely recommend setting up other social accounts, and that way you can cross promote. So whenever you do post a video, you're posting it on Twitter and Instagram and your reach is much wider. Also, people can retweet or share your Instagram post or story, and that way you're reaching more people. You need to think, how am I going to reach as many people as possible? And having corresponding Twitter and Instagram profiles is so important, and kind of growing your overall social presence. that kind of allows people to follow you everywhere, if that makes sense. Okay, so those are all my like top tips of like if you're brand new. I also have some top tips to remember if you are just like struggling a bit and you're finding that your channel is just not growing. Number one tip to grow your channel: stick to a consistent uploading schedule. It doesn't matter if it's once a week or twice a week. I don't think it matters in terms of how often you're posting. It just needs to be consistent. Set yourself a schedule and communicate that to your viewers and say, this is my schedule. You will see a video on my channel every Sunday at the same time. The algorithm likes when you post at a time, I think it's like within a certain hour, you know, so if it's like 5 or 6 p.m. every Sunday or whatever, the algorithm likes consistency. So really try and be consistent. Do not miss posting videos, you know, especially when you're starting out. You want to be posting a consistent amount of videos a week, you know, just to grow your channel, because the algorithm really does like new channels, so it will just push out your videos. So my schedule is Wednesdays and Sundays, usually between 5 and 7 p.m. So I find that time bracket, you know, between 5 and 7 works for me. That way, you know, my viewers know when to come back and watch a new video of mine, but I'll always have a weekend video on a Sunday and a midweek video on a Wednesday. My second tip might be a bit obvious, but it is to be passionate. You can't be talking about books on your channel if you don't like books or reading, and your viewers will be able to tell when you're not passionate about something. So if you are not feeling it, don't film it. That is my advice, and something I have definitely had to grapple with over the 8 years that I've been on BookTube. I have had many months off filming and off uploading over the years because I've just not been in a place where I cared enough to do it. And the worst thing is, like, if you post videos when you're feeling like that, people can tell. Like, people can tell when you're not in it, heart and soul. You don't love what you do, you don't care about books, and you're not really reading at the moment. You're feeling a bit like meh about it all. Just, you know, be passionate. You really want to portray that passion on your channel. And also, you know, your videos need to be enjoyable. You want people to enjoy what they're seeing. Being yourself and being passionate and caring about what you're talking about is so important, and people will pick up on it. My like go-to is that if you're authentic and you're yourself, don't pretend to be other people. Don't copy people's mannerisms or anything else that they do. Be yourself and the people will come. You know, like, there is nothing greater than seeing someone who is just unashamedly themselves online and just, you know, their voice is just them. That matters. So be yourself, be passionate, make videos on things you care about. My next tip is to not stress too much about the analytics. I am one who definitely stresses about the analytics, and YouTube makes that really easy to stress about it because there are all these glaring green lights. Oh no, your video's not performing well compared to your last one. There's everything on the analytics page which compares yourself to yourself and everyone else all the time, which is not fun. If you are just starting out and you're like, wow, my videos are not performing well whatsoever, it's okay. You will get there. Just be patient and don't look at the data too much. There are amazing tools that YouTube provides on how to grow your audience, what you can learn from what you did wrong, and I think that's great. But don't be obsessive about it, because when you're obsessive, you're in it for the wrong reasons. If you're obsessing about the numbers, you're forgetting what you're there for in the first place, which is, you know, to enjoy talking about books and share your love of books. Don't be obsessed with the numbers. Unless you're a full-time YouTuber, then it's not really that important, you know? As long as some people are watching and viewing, commenting and enjoying themselves, that is the main thing. My final tip for this video, if you are just struggling with your channel, or if you don't know where to start and you kind of want some tips, this tip is like the big one. It is to connect with the community. BookTube is a community We all support each other, we all love books, and I have made some of my best friendships over BookTube. People who, you know, I probably wouldn't have met otherwise, and I love that about the community. What I'd recommend is finding people who are quite similar to you, and as well as people who read very differently to you. Comment on their videos. If you are just starting out, you're a brand new channel, you want people to see your channel, you want to start making connections. So comment on everyone's video that you watch and tell them what you loved about the video. You will find that when you comment on everyone's videos and you actually engage with other people's content, people will do the same to you. The same goes on Twitter, on Instagram. Promote other people's videos, hype people up. If you love a video, share it. Tell the creator you love their video and share it, because everything will come back around. And I don't mean to be kind of like Machiavellian about that and be like, well, you know, if you spam people with love, then obviously people will do it back. I mean, you've got to pay it forward. You know, you can't expect people to watch your videos if you don't watch anyone else's videos. You know, you've got to be invested in the community and want to make connections. And I think if you engage with other creators' videos, if you tell them what you loved about their videos and you kind of say, oh my God, I love this book too, or thank you for recommending this book, I absolutely loved it, you know, I read this book because of you. You're doing your part in the community and you're really being an active player. And I think that community spirit is really lovely to see. And people will naturally find themselves drawn to your channel because you are just such an active part of the community. So really be vocal, really share the love, and really get involved in other people's channels and support other people as well. And you will find BookTube is a lovely, welcoming community, and they will do the same for you, because we all love books and we all love hyping people up who talk about books too. So guys, I hope this video, this very long rambly video, has been helpful to you. If you are just starting your BookTube journey, do let me know down in the comments below, please. I would love to hear, you know, if this video was helpful to you, and best of luck if you are starting your channel. I can't wait to see your videos. So thank you all so much for watching this. I really hope it's been, you know, informative, helpful, supportive, whatever word you want to use. And if you did enjoy it and took something from it, please do make sure you're subscribed to this channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you very soon, guys. Bye.